Lock in all sports, all plays, all 5% best bets from now until Super Bowl 58 on February 11th, 2024. From your favorite WagerTalk or Sports Memo handicapper for only $11.99 versus the regular price of $19.99 for a total savings of $800. This limited time super discount basically is 52 weeks at $23 per week, less than the price of one 4% play, coming out to only $3.29 per day. With the cost of a 30-day all-access priced at $2.99, it is almost like getting 8 30-day all-access passes at no additional cost. As an added bonus, your all-access starts immediately, so the sooner you buy before Super Bowl, the more additional days you get for free.
Hey guys, very happy Friday to you now, the 10th of February. That's right, huge weekend across the sports betting landscape. Obviously, big game coming up on Sunday. Final NFL game of the year, plenty surrounding that, but 153, I believe, if I counted correctly, college basketball games this weekend. A lot of NBA teams looking all sorts of new here, and of course, we got a light slate tonight, but still some games here of interest. We'll see if we can find a couple of games we like best, and we'll do it with three of the best college basketball cappers over at WagerTalk.com as we welcome in on this Friday. Dwayne Bryant back in the chair, ready to roll here tonight, as is Mr. Mejia. Tony M back in the chair, and of course, from a undisclosed location somewhere around the world, Jimmy Adams, ready to drop on some knowledge here. College hoops, going to be a hell of a weekend here. Huge weekend. March Madness is just around the corner, but plenty of time to make it a very profitable college basketball season. And you got to be working on something there, Dwayne. I'm sure, whether it be tonight in the NBA, college hoops, you got anything available right now over at Wager Talk?
I'm not sure what I'm doing with the NBA yet today. I'll figure that out after the show. I will have some Super Bowl props up either later tonight or tomorrow. I do have a 2-pack of college basketball best bets that are up right now for just $19 over at dbbets.com. That short link will take you to my page at Wager Talk. Number one in college basketball profit since December 1st. $100 per unit better is up $7,195 on just my college hoops plays since December 1st. You can get tonight's 2-pack right now for $19 at dbbets.com.
Good stuff, guys. No reason not to make it one hell of a profitable weekend here across the board. Mejia, I know you're working on a whole lot of NFL stuff coming up, but the NBA, you got soccer I know you're rolling with, not to mention, of course, college hoops. So what's up and available tonight for us?
Yeah, we've got a 5% NBA play. I'm 7-2-1 on the season in the association on max play, so we'll look to extend that to an 80% run tonight. Feeling pretty confident about that one. And we've got the plus package as well, which gives you all the other plays and props for just $4 more. You can go to my page at wt.buzz/TM, and you can also read my free play on Xavier Butler there, and have a 4% package in college basketball as well. Yesterday it was solid in the aspect that we went 6-3-1 on our plays, but the big one fell in San Diego, Santa Clara, just short because Steve Lavin, for some odd reason, chose not to extend the game and just went for 3-pointers and did not foul down the stretch, and we came up a few points short in that over in San Diego, Santa Clara. So looking to bounce back tonight. Lots of action. We've got obviously the A10, the Mountain West, Little Big East. Like I said, free play up on Butler Xavier on my page.
Yep, that should be a good one too as well. Plenty of action across the board here. How about it, Jimmy? College hoops, NBA. Where are you looking tonight here on the card?
You know, Joe, handicap's pretty hard. I didn't find anything that I loved, and I'm not gonna force anything. So taking the day off today, kind of regroup. We'll get back to winning on Saturday. But I'm not going to leave you guys hanging. I have the Super Bowl right side winner up tonight, #1 NFL handicapper at WagerTalk this season. So definitely grab that, and then keep your eye out for tomorrow's card. We'll get back to winning.
Yeah, huge weekend card across the hardwood here, guys. But we'll take a look at a couple of interesting ones here tonight, and we'll head to the MAC. And we're going to get, I believe, now for what, the second time in 2 weeks, the Zips taking on the Bobcats. This time it's in Athens. And Zips, well, they took down the first meeting here. I think it was 83-77. Pretty much took over the entire second half. They covered. They won. I don't know. The Bobcats get to host this one, though. Should be an interesting one. Looking to continue their winning streak. What do you think here? It's only 2 for the Zips. 144 is the total. How are you approaching this one here, Dwayne, tonight in the MAC?
Well, like you said, this is a rematch from 2 weeks ago. Akron was laying 5.5 at home. They did cover by a half point. Went way over the total of 137 because both teams shot well. They both shot over 51% from the field. They combined to shoot better than 45% from three-point range. And actually, the last few meetings between these two have seen pretty much similar results. You got Akron here, #1 in the MAC in defensive efficiency and number 12 in tempo. So you'd think that they'd be able to slow Ohio's pace here, and they do, and they have in the past. But Ohio still scores plenty of points against these guys because they shoot so well. They're #3 in offensive efficiency in the MAC. All of Ohio's 5 home conference games have eclipsed this total that we're seeing today, except for the Kent State game where they ended at 135. Surprising, the unders 3-0 in Kent State conference games against teams that average 62 or more field goal attempts a game. In other words, faster paced teams. Those games averaged 138.3 points, stayed under by half a game. Opponent Akron, they're 3-0-1 to the over in conference against opponents that are averaging 62 or more field goal attempts a game. And there's an average of 101.8 scored in games going over, an average of 9. Akron's averaging 77.5 points on the conference road against faster paced teams like Buffalo and Bowling Green. So they should get their fair share of the points here as well. The side is a coin flip to me, in my opinion. I mean, I can afford like a fat all-you-can-eat buffet on the side on this game. I do lean to the over here. And one thing I didn't mention was how three-point reliant teams are. Akron's #1 in the MAC and 3-point attempts per field goal attempt. And #1 in the percentage of points coming from threes as well. And Ohio far behind in that regard. #4 in the conference in 3-point attempts per field goal attempt, and #2 behind only Akron in percentage of points from threes. Akron's D and tempo numbers keep this total a tad lower than I think it should be. I do see that the line has ticked up a few points since this morning, so much of the value is gone, but I do still lean to the over in this game.
Yeah, a lot of, I mean, for a team as slow-paced as Akron, they certainly hit a bunch of overs here. So lean towards the over in this one. Ohio there, Mejia, though, don't like to lose at home, apparently. What are they, 10-1? They like their home games here. What happens here tonight?
Well, I mean, I'd be a little concerned if I was Ohio, simply because Dwight Wilson, their top big man, got worn out by Enrique Freeman in that first matchup. He got fouled out, ended up with just 14 points, and Enrique Freeman had a huge double-double, and leading the way. And Akron won that game with their sniper Castaneda going just 2 for 8 from beyond the arc. So we'll see if he's able to improve. Another thing for Ohio to watch is they've played bottom feeders for the most part over the last few games since playing the Zips. They lost to Eastern Michigan. That's not a good loss, considering although Eastern Michigan has Imani Bates, which is probably the top NBA prospect in the MAC. They don't play a lick of defense. They lost to that team. They just won against Northern Illinois, who was missing a key player. So we'll see if they're able to bounce back. Certainly, the revenge factor is in their favor at home. And Akron drops into a first-place tie with Kent State and Toledo after losing to the Rockets at home on Tuesday night. They haven't lost consecutive games since November, so we'll see if they're able to bounce back here.
Yeah, I mean, they out-rebounded them. They out-free-throwed them. They, it was a interesting first game, to say the least, a couple of weeks ago there. Jimmy, are you leaning one way or the other in this matchup?
Well, so obviously Akron's the better team here, right? But I'm going to make a case for Ohio. We got a battle of tempos as Akron. It's a good opportunity for them to knock off the team that sits tied for the top spot in the conference. The Zips sit in the 300s in adjusted tempo. So Ohio's going to need to dictate the pace. That's key. And the Bobcats, they certainly have the ability to do so, in my opinion. They're 40th in the nation in points per game. They have a solid field goal percentage. They can shoot the three ball. Other keys here are going to be rebounding and defending the three-point line. Three-point defense is my major concern for this game. Akron hit over 50% of their threes and out-rebounded the Bobcats by 10 in their home win matchup back on January 28th. I don't think it was like 56% from three. I don't think that's sustainable. They're not going to do it again on the road. But they still only managed to win the game by 6. Ohio, like you mentioned, Joe, 10-1 at home on the season. They're averaging 82.5 points per game on their home court. The underdogs 8-1 in the last 9 meetings. And as long as Ohio doesn't get stuck in that slow-paced half-court offense, they should be able to. They've at least got a shot to come away with straight-up victory tonight. I'm going to lean Ohio.
All right, leaning Ohio to get it done here in tonight. That's game 1 here. A little action there. Another pretty good one coming up after that. A lot to be determined here for that top spot there in the MAC. Is Kent State right up there, -4 tonight though on the road, taking on Buffalo. Total 153. You get exhausted watching Kent State play there, Mejia, don't you? I mean, they just continue to run and run. Buffalo's had a pretty good season here. Home dog tonight. Are you buying? Are they barking?
Well, I was on Kent State in the first matchup, and it was a really frustrating watch because they led by double digits pretty much the entire way, led by 42-31 at halftime, had the cover, and then they didn't because Buffalo pressed and was able to hit. They banked in a 3. Buffalo's best player in that game was UCF transfer Isaiah Adams, who really had a nice start in Orlando, and then kind of was inconsistent and decided that a change of scenery was the way to go for him. And he banked in a key 3 that helped key that backdoor cover. But yeah, Kent State certainly dominated that game. They have the best player in this contest in Sincere Carey, probably the best point guard in the MAC. He got wherever he wanted. Buffalo's going to want to run here at all costs. And Kent State has the best defense in the MAC. So we'll see if they're able to continue to stifle Buffalo and keep them from getting going. The Bulls shot just 7 for 29 from three-point range in that first game, had only 11 assists on their 22 field goals. So Kent State certainly was able to impose its will. It's going to be a different story on the road, though. So this will be an interesting matchup from that standpoint. I would caution against backing that over, which I see a lot of people doing because the number has risen up over towards 153. The way Kent State can lock you up if they have a lead late or if this game is tight, I have a hard time seeing this get there, even though the first matchup did produce it was only 142 points. So, we could see 150 and the under would still hit here. So that would be my lean here. Kent State, Buffalo under.
All right, leaning towards the under. Great, high scoring offense versus damn good defense here, Jimmy Adams. Which one wins this game?
Yeah, so Kent State, part of that three-way tie for first in the MAC, right? They've made a tremendous amount of money for their backers this season, 15-7 against the spread on the year. Last meeting between these two schools, obviously a 6-point win for Kent State. I think we're going to see an even more lopsided affair tonight. Buffalo may like to get out and run, but they're facing a great defense with the Golden Flashes here. 44th in points per game allowed, 18th in field goal percentage in the nation. I have some serious concerns about the Bulls defense that's going to make them absolutely unbackable for me here. Buffalo coming in at 352nd in points per game allowed. And Kent does a good job in most areas offensively. I mean, with the exception of their 3-point shooting. But, the only thing Kent State has to really worry about, in my opinion, is keeping Buffalo off the offensive glass. The Golden Flashes, they shot just 20.8% from three in the last meeting against this terrible defense. That should definitely rectify itself at least somewhat. I'll be laying the short chalk with the road team tonight. Give me Kent State.
Kent State. All right. We got another one of these games here, Dwayne, where we just watched it last week of January there. Kent State handled it 78-64. That defense shut the Bulls down. What do you think we're going to get in round two here?
Well, I'm mostly a totals handicapper when it comes to college hoops, so that's where I looked in this game. Like you said, we got another MAC rematch from 2 weeks ago. Kent laying the double digits, 1 by 6, stayed under the total. The shooting was horrible, combined for 37.4% from the field in that game. They shot just 12 of 53, 22.6% from three-point range. They did total 131 shots in that first meeting. So Kent State didn't slow Buffalo down all that much, Buffalo being the number one tempo team in the conference. They just didn't fall. We got two of the top 4 teams in the conference in defensive efficiency. And if you go back to their last 2 meetings last season, they played out very similarly to that first meeting this season. So I don't think we can assume the shots will fall this time and that the game will go over the total. When you look at Kent, they've gone 1-4 over under on the conference road. The only one that went 140 points scored or more was the Northern Illinois game, where they totaled 162. But that looks like an outlier game to me. Northern Illinois is in the middle of the conference in tempo and D, and they're in the bottom third of the conference in offensive efficiency. So I think that game is more of the exception and not the rule here. And then I look at Buffalo's conference home games, and I throw out the ones against Eastern Michigan and Bowling Green. Those two are tempo and offensive efficiency. Kent is the polar opposite of those two teams. So of the remaining 4 games, only one of them eclipsed the total that we're seeing for this game. The other 3 landed in the 140s, which is where I see this one ending up. Kent State's been a heavy under team this season, 10-1 in their road games. And Buffalo, they may be MAC's number 1 tempo team, but the under is 3-0. And when Buffalo is home, total of 150 or higher, and they're facing a team with the winning record, that's what they're getting here. I see the line has ticked up a bit. I do not agree with that move. I just think it gives us even more value. I am going to lean with the under.
All right, leaning towards the under in that action here tonight. Yeah, I mean, a couple of really good games in store for the MAC. A lot to be determined there. And then we have one game in the A-10 we're going to switch over to here to check out, and 2 of the more frustrating teams for bettors here this year as the Billikens taking on Dayton. 5 is the number, the total 136.5 here at last look. 8 o'clock Eastern time tip here. Up and down for both of these teams, depending on who you talk to there, Jimmy. Some believe both of these teams should absolutely be better than what they have shown. Just no consistency here. What do you think we're going to get here tonight from these 2?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a game of the night, man. Atlantic 10, St. Louis, they're running into a hostile environment. Flyers 12-1 at home for a reason, and their defense is going to lead them to a win and cover, in my opinion. Dayton ranks 15th in the nation, points per game allowed at 61.4, 12 in field goal percentage defense, 8 in three-point percentage defense, etc. On and on and on. They're going to be ready to roll tonight on that end of the floor. Look, they rebound the ball well, and I just can't see the Billikens having any type of success offensively on the road tonight. The only question for me really becomes, can they get up and over this number, because the offense is not great. Look, they're going to dominate the boards. I think points in the paint will be the way they get up and over this number, along with that stifling defense that's going to be backed by that big crowd at UD Arena. St. Louis has dropped 2 or 3 straight up. They've dropped 3 straight against the spread, with 2 of those coming by double digits. The Billikens, they're running into a bad situation tonight. The number's a little high to make it a client play, but I like Dayton tonight, Joe.
All right, going to lean towards Dayton here. What are you thinking there, Dwayne? You're a totals guy here. I mean, does it get any friggin' slower than what we get with the Dayton Flyers here? So tell me, what are you looking at here in this one?
Well, I'm going to cross you up here. I'm going to look at the side in this game. We don't have a first meeting to look at here. No earlier matchup this season, so nothing to look back on and dissect here. We do see a clear contrast in styles here. St. Louis is third in the A10 in tempo. Dayton's 15th, dead last. So Dayton clearly is going to be looking to take the air out of the ball. They've been successful doing so at home versus other up-tempo conference opponents. And I can see Dayton maybe being a little flat out of the gate tonight. Just 3 days ago, they went on the road to face conference-leading Virginia Commonwealth, and they got the upset win there, revenge game, home loss that they suffered to VCU from last month. So the Flyers may come out a little sluggish here. I don't expect the considering it's a half game up on them in the conference standings, so it is a big game for them. Dayton's 12-1 at home. The only loss was that 1-point loss to VCU. Looking at St. Louis, this is their 6th conference road game. They were favored in the first 5, so this is their first one as a conference road dog. And they're the dog here for a reason. I mentioned, St. Louis being favored in those 5 conference road games to start the season until today. They lost 2 of them, and they lost 10 and 9 points, which is more than the number here. Dayton at home, I mean, they've been good at handling the up-tempo teams like St. Louis. Their 4 conference home wins have all been by more than this number. So I think they follow suit here. I can, take a lean to Dayton minus the point.
All right, Dayton minus the points here. Some injury concerns, I guess, for this Dayton squad. It's been like this all year, though, with these guys. What are you thinking here, Mejia? Blakeney, is he going, not going? They just seem to sit down anytime they feel like it with no real rhyme or reason. So what are you doing in this game tonight?
Well, Malachi Smith is crucial for Dayton to have any chance of being a Sweet 16 team or to really dream in March, because he is a legitimate floor general, and they've really missed him. He's been hobbled for most of the season, and he probably won't play tonight. RJ Blakeney, who you also referenced, he limped off last game, then came back, and then limped off again. So his status is up in the air, according to Anthony Grant. And yeah, that's why I can't back Dayton in this game, because you're missing 2 of your top guards. They're certainly the bigger team in this contest. You've got Deuce Holmes, who's the best post player, probably in the A10, leads the nation in dunks. A solid rim protector, Tumani Kamara, Mustafa Amzil on the perimeter, also a big guard. So certainly size-wise, Dayton has an advantage, and that's why they're so stifling on the perimeter, as Jimmy mentioned, top 10 in the country in containing the three-pointer. Teams shoot less than, I think, 29%. But St. Louis has shot the ball better, 40% or better from three-point range in 6 of the last 7 games. They've got Gilbert Jimerson, one of the top snipers in the country. Yuri Collins just became the A10's all-time assist leader. He knows how to set these guys up. Whenever he's off the court, they have absolutely no semblance of offense. So he's got to stay out on there, and it certainly helps that he won't have Malachi Smith pestering him. So I think St. Louis is able to hang around in this game. They snapped a 5-game losing streak in this series in St. Louis last year, but they did lose at UD Arena, and certainly the crowd will play a factor here. Dayton's won 14 out of 18 in the series, but I think St. Louis pushes them. This is probably a game that comes down to the wire. So now that it's reached 5 points, I think that's too much for me. I would lean St. Louis, but probably this is going to be a game that I'll just watch with interest without touching action-wise.
All right, there we go. Billikens taking on the Flyers here tonight in the A10. Some fun stuff there. A couple of intriguing matchups across the board here tonight on a small card. Obviously, 153 some odd games tomorrow on tap in college hoops. So plenty of opportunities to make it a very profitable weekend for sure in college basketball. But let's go around the horn and see if there is a game these guys might be leaning to a little bit more than the rest. And Dwayne, we'll kick it back to you, man. Start us off here. Give us a best bet here for the show.
We're going to go late night special here. I'm going to lay the points with Nevada at home over Fresno. And I get it. It's a tough spot for Nevada. It's a potential flat spot. They won on a buzzer beater in the pit in their last game. They have a pretty big game on deck against Utah State. So playing a conference also ran like Fresno State here puts Nevada in that classic sandwich spot. So they just might start slow tonight. But even if they do, I expect the talent gap to end up being too much here. Fresno State, they did upset UNLV on the road a week ago, but they were 0-4 on the conference road. And with that win, their road scoring was minus 12 per game. We're looking at Nevada being 6-0 straight up, 4-1-1 against the spread in conference home games. And in the only one of those where they were asked to win by a margin, they laid 11.5 and beat Air Force by 20. So I think if you're hell-bent on taking Fresno because of the situation, do it in the first half because I do expect the talent gap to end up being too much here. I have Nevada 13 to 13.5 better than Fresno. And even if I take off a couple points for the situational aspect, I still feel like we're getting some value here laying just the 9 last I checked. And I'm a contrarian, man. I love fading public underdogs. And last I checked, most of the tickets in this game were on Fresno. That just makes me like this even more. So give me Nevada minus the 9 as my best bet for the show. And don't forget to head over to dbbets.com today and grab that 2-pack of college hoops best bets for $9.
All right, get her done here. Love it. We've got, again, not a whole ton of games, but some intriguing ones, including that late night degenerate special there with Nevada. Talk to us here, Mejia. Which one of these games are you looking at here tonight?
We'll go off the board for what the games that we talked about. We'll go to the MAC, though, the MAAC, where Iona's looking to play bully against Canisius. Line is now at 12.5. I was originally going to go over the last 4 games for the Golden Griffins have gone over the post total, and they've lost all 4. But I think this might be a game where Iona just flexes its muscle, and it takes 2 teams to create an over. So I will go ahead and amend my total on this game going over the posted total and go just with Iona laying the dozen 12.5. And Iona holds teams to just 29% from 3-point range. That's 12th in the country. Canisius gets most of its points from the perimeter. Their lead guard, Jordan Henderson, is very small. He's 5'8". So, this is an opportunity for Iona to show they're the bigger, most athletic team in the conference. They've really underachieved this season, but it's been mostly related to health issues. And I think they are healthy now. Nelly Jr. Joseph is the top post player in the conference. Dennis Jenkins and Walter Clayton, 2 solid guards that should be able to peak from here going forward. I expect Iona to emerge as the cream of the crop in the MAC. Currently, they are not. Currently, I believe it is Ryder leading the way. So I think Iona catches them, and I think they open some eyes tonight with a blowout win over Canisius.
All right, there we go. The Gales getting it done here tonight against Canisius there. So that one too, 7 o'clock, I believe, somewhere in that ballpark for a tip-off. And Jimmy Adams, you said nothing crazy going on tonight. You're going to take a step back and, of course, hit it hard again tomorrow. But give us the best bet you're leaning at here tonight for the show.
Yeah, Joe, I'm going to go to the game we just talked about, and I feel the strongest on the Dayton Flyers here. Look, 12-1 at home, that's not random, right? This crowd's going to be rocking UD Arena. I think the Flyers are going to be ready to roll tonight. this defense really doesn't have a weakness. They're allowing 61.4 points per game. I think St. Louis is running into a bad situation. They're going to have a tough time scoring. Look, Dayton's going to use their size and athleticism to dominate the boards. They're going to need that size to score their those points in the paint in order to get up and over this number. I think they do it. St. Louis has been burning money in their last 3 games, failing to cover the number by a pretty wide margin in 2 of those. Bad situation for St. Louis. Give me the Dayton Flyers -5.
All right, Dayton Flyers -5 there for Jimmy Adams. Our friends from the Gold Sheet, they are passing here today, but I am going to go with, if it ain't broke, don't friggin' fix it. Youngstown State, 9 of their last 10, 4 of their last 5 on the road. They are 1 game ahead of Wisconsin, Milwaukee here in the Horizon League, taking on the Mastodons here and Purdue, Fort Wayne. I ain't buying it. It opened up at 2. It's now 4, 4.5. Yeah, give me Youngstown State to roll like they've pretty much been doing the entire season there. And once again here, guys, across the board, we got Dwayne going with the late night degenerate special there. Nevada laying the 9. Go ahead and do it. They like playing at home here. The Gales from Mejia, Iona, lay the 12 against Canisius. Not going to be pretty there. Dayton -5 for Jimmy. Does not trust the Billigans at all. And Youngstown State is where I'm looking here tonight against the Mastodons. And don't forget, guys, if you head over to WagerTalk.com, plenty of opportunities all weekend long for you to hop on board with these guys. You can visit Dwayne Bryant. You can visit Tony Mejia and Jimmy Adams. Don't forget, Tony's got a 5% best bet in the NBA, ready to roll here tonight. And Jimmy, of course, #1 at Wager Talk this NFL season. He's already got the winner for this Sunday's game. You might have heard of it. It's called the Super Bowl. He's ready to roll, locked and loaded. Go to his page, pick that up. And a matter of fact, those 3-day, 7-day, and 30-day all-access packages for all 3 of these guys, absolutely the way to go. Every best bet, every sport, including those 5% best bets. That's how you roll and partner up with these guys. All right, guys, again, 153 college hoops games tomorrow. Of course, we'll be back on Monday, starting another week. We're getting that much closer to conference tournaments. And then, of course, March Madness, a month away. Kind of hard to believe, but we are in the home stretch here, guys. So hopefully you'll come back and join us again next week. We'll do it all over again. Until then, on behalf of Dwayne Bryant, Tony Mejia, and Jimmy Adams, guys, we appreciate the time. Best of luck with all your plays this weekend. We'll talk to you again on Monday. Good luck.
Lock in all sports, all plays, all 5% best bets from now until Super Bowl 58 on February 11, 2024. From your favorite Wager Talk or Sports Memo handicapper for only $11.99 versus a regular price of $19.99 for a total savings of $800. This limited time super discount basically is 52 weeks at $23 per week, less than the price of one 4% play, coming out to only $3.29 per day. With the cost of a 30-day all-access priced at $2.99, it is almost like getting 8 30-day all-access passes at no additional cost. As an added bonus, your all-access starts immediately, so the sooner you buy before Super Bowl, the more additional days you get for free.